Good morning, good afternoon, and then good evening, depending on the part of the world you're watching from. This morning, I would say welcome again to Ibomsoups Junior Chef Culinary Training. And this is stream 4 and our first online training for kids. Wow. I'm so excited about it. Okay, so we're going to be cooking 3 different kinds of meals this morning, and I would like you to prepare your ingredients. Hello children, I'm sure you're watching me from home and you're ready. First, an adult must be with you. Before you do this, I want you to ensure an adult is with you, and as soon as you have achieved that, I want you to get your ingredients ready. I already have sent messages about the ingredients you need to get ready, and I have mine ready here. So if yours is not as prepared as mine, maybe it's time to do so. While you are at it, I would like to share a few precautionary measures we need to take while undergoing this training. And as children, we need to be very careful because I don't want anyone getting injured during the training. I always say that during our training, I don't want anyone getting injured. So the first rule, ensure an adult is with you in the kitchen. And then the second rule, no sharp objects. And if you have to use any sharp object like knife, blenders, food processors, an adult has to handle that aspect. And then with the cooking stove, please do not put it on yourself, especially if you've not been doing that before. Allow an adult help you. It's very important to note that as a child, for you to do an amazing job in the kitchen, you need the help of an adult. Okay, so while I continue with the other tips we need to have in place before we go ahead with this, I would like you to get your ingredients ready. Like I said, we're cooking jollof rice first. So get your pepper mix ready, get your rice ready, and all the things you would need. So some of the kitchen rules, culinary rules we follow. Do not open the pot with your bare hands. Use a napkin as you attempt to open the pot. We are saying this because we assume that for a lot of pots, the knob will become very hot as it cooks. And then it's important for you not to injure yourself. And check all drawers in the cabinet to ensure they are shut. When a drawer is open in the cabinet, when a cabinet drawer is open, as you're trying to pass, you can injure yourself. So check the cabinets, ensure all drawers are properly shut, and then ensure there are no ropes attached to you from anywhere so you don't pick on something and then it falls off. Ensure all the plates and culinary items are properly balanced where you're cooking, and keep knives far away from you. Never leave your knife in a sink. Because if you do so, and then you add water into the sink as well, after a while, someone may come deep hands into that sink without knowing there's a knife inside. So never leave your knife in the sink. Leave your knife in the knife rack. Okay, so that's an important tip I think we all need. Well, as I remember, I'm going to share some other tips with you. And if you're using pots with handles, like frying pan, wok pots, ensure that the handles stand inside, not facing you, so you don't hit it and then it falls off the cooking burner. Well, we're going to start with our jollof rice. When you're cooking with pots with handles like this, never leave them this way, because if you do, you can walk into them and injure yourself. Or you do this and then it pours, whatever is inside the pot pours on your body. So ensure that the handles are placed inwards. Perfect. Okay, so the first thing we are starting with is how to cook jollof rice. On the screen, we have our ingredients. Our pepper mix made up of tomatoes, bell pepper, habanero pepper, cayenne pepper, onions, ginger, and garlic. I'm going to show you that in a few minutes. The next ingredient we have there is salt to taste, seasoning, 2 to 3 cubes. That's any seasoning of your choice. Vegetable oil, 1/4 cup, and then 1 bulb onion, and then curry and thyme, ½ teaspoon each. Chicken broth, and then 1 cup of chicken broth, and then water. So I'm going to show you some of the ingredients we're using. Like the pepper mix is made up of tomatoes. Pepper mix is made up of tomatoes, tatashe. This is bell pepper. When we say bell pepper, this is the one we are referring to. And then cayenne pepper. This is cayenne pepper, and then this is habanero pepper. Okay, so this is it's a combination of all this that we have in the pepper mix. And then if you like, which is that is really optional, you can have your ginger and garlic all blended in it. Okay, so to save our time and of course your data also from home, we have already blended the mix, but I've shown you exactly what we have blended together to achieve this. So can we come this way as we cook? So this is our pepper mix. We're going to use this for the cooking. the first thing to do, we're going to go on to the procedure. The first thing is peel, wash, and chop your onions, okay? So I have my onions here, already washed, but I'm going to just wash again. And if you know you haven't washed your hands before you started cooking, this is the right time to do so, okay? So wash your onions, okay? And then chop your onions. Well, I have a manual processor here that helps me in chopping my onions, and I'm going to use just that. Okay, so if you have a manual blender like this, you can allow it to do the chopping for you. But if you have not been doing this before now, please, I would encourage you to allow an adult do this for you, please, okay? Because it involves sharp object. Remember I said when you want to use sharp object, allow an adult help you. Okay, so if you have your onions already chopped, like mine, okay, this is it, already chopped. If you have that, then that process is done. Okay, so what's the next thing we're going to do? Well, okay, so you have the dry pot, then you add your vegetable oil. If you have this measuring cups, it's going to help you a lot. But if you don't have it, not to worry, you can use anything similar. So your cooking pot is on the fire, and then it's also dry, ready for the oil. So you measure 1/3 cup of oil. Okay, so this is 1/3 cup of oil. That's the quantity we are using for this, for the jollof rice. So you measure this 1/3 cup of oil, 85 mils. If you do not have this measuring cup at home, not to worry. You can look for something in the house, maybe whatever it is that's a container that is about 30 mils, 40 mils, 60 mils. All you need to do is do the mathematics, and I'm sure you're a smart kid, you can handle this, okay? So here we have 85 mils. So if you have a container that is 60 mils, you already know 85 minus 60, so that's one of the container, and then 25 mils. I'm sure you can get that correctly, okay? Measure this, and then you pour into the dry pot already on the fire, okay? Now, as you do this, you won't allow it to stay for too long so it doesn't choke you. And then the next thing you're going to do is to add your already chopped onions into the cooking pot, okay? And then you stir. As you stir, you won't leave for too long. And remember I said whenever you're cooking in the kitchen, make sure an adult is with you. This is our pepper mix. I already told you what we put together to achieve this pepper mix. So you're going to have, this is a cup of it. This is 1 cup measurement, which is about the same thing as 250 mils. 1 cup measurement, okay? So you stir this. If you like to have your jollof rice looking really appealing and colorful, you can make it a cup and about 1/3, okay? Which is what we are doing right now. So this is about a cup and 1/3 of it, depending on how you like it. Almost, I'm sure your parents would have this pepper mix at home most of the time. So you can always do this whether or not you have planned it, okay? So you don't have to go blend a fresh pepper mix for the jollof rice. You can work with what mommy and daddy already have in the freezer, okay? So you allow this to fry. You allow this to fry, and I'm sure you're following with me. Here on the screen again, we have our recipe, okay, and then of course the procedure. Okay, so what step are we in now? What step are we in now? Are you watching with me? Okay, so we have allowed the pot to we have allowed the onions to fry, and then we have also allowed the pepper mix to fry. And then remember, we're going to, that's step 6 now. We're going to allow this to fry for about 5 to 10 minutes, 10 minutes before stirring. Now it depends on the kind of pepper mix you're using. For some people, when they buy this pepper mix already and blend in the market, or they come back to blend at home, they cook and then keep in the freezer. But for some families, they keep that way fresh. So it depends on what you already have in your freezer. If you had kept it fresh, then you may need to fry for a bit longer so that it would be really cooked. But if you already add this, if you already cooked this before you add it in the freezer, like what we have here has already been cooked before now, then you won't have to stir for so long. In 5 minutes, it will be ready, and then of course you can add your seasoning, okay? So you stir. Why are you stirring? So it doesn't get burned. And then don't forget, if you're using a non-stick pot, ensure to use a non-stick spoon, as a rubber spoon as well, okay? Avoid using a metal spoon for a non-stick pot so you don't spoil mommy's pot, okay? You don't have to stir as quickly. Then you can also stay away from the fire. Please don't stay too close to the fire so it doesn't splash on your body. So now the next thing to do is to add your seasoning. It depends on you, and it depends on what mommy and daddy would use regularly for their cooking. You add any choice of seasoning. If this is splashing too much, you can reduce your cooking. You can reduce the strength of your burner, okay? Just like I'm doing right now. So you add your seasoning cube to it, and then of course we are going to wait for another 2 to 3 minutes, and then we'll wash our rice, okay? So we've added our seasoning. We are going to add our curry and our thyme. This is just about half a teaspoon, okay? So half a teaspoon is what we are adding each time. So this is it, half a teaspoon curry. Then about half a teaspoon thyme as well. During our junior chef training, we'll teach kids to cook without the chicken broth, just in case you won't have access to that when you're making your meals, okay? But assuming you already have your chicken broth, it's a good time to, add it. But if you do not have it available, your rice is going to still taste as nice, so long as you are a good chef, okay? So we're going to add our salt, a pinch of salt. Pinch of salt. Remember, at the end, if you're not satisfied with the quantity of salt you have, you can always add it, okay? So you stir this, allow to fry for about 2 minutes, and then you add your water. So while this is frying, and then we're waiting for that, we can also use that time to wash our rice, okay? So we're going to go into the process of washing our rice. So that's your rice, 300 grams. If you have this measuring cup at home, check where you have flour. You can use that measurement to achieve your 300 grams. But even if you don't have that, I'm sure you have an idea of this cup. So you wash your rice and then you add it to this. But so we can save time, we're going to do something. We're going to add water to this so it keeps boiling while we are washing our rice. One thing I've discovered about cooking, if you're a good time manager, you are also going to make a very smart chef. You're going to save a lot of time in the kitchen if you know how to work ahead and plan ahead. Cooking, like every other life skill, helps us in other areas in life. So once you have mastered the art of cooking, it's going to make you better in other aspects of your life, okay? So one of the things you're going to learn with cooking is doing 2 or 3 things at a time, okay? Multitasking. So now we have this on the fire. We are waiting for it to cook well long enough. As that is going on, we are also trying to wash our rice so we can save our time. Okay, so now you want to wash your rice, okay? You add a little bit of water first, and then try to wash well, okay? This is something I'm sure you can do yourself, okay? Mommy doesn't have to help you with this right now. So you can ask mommy to allow you, mommy or daddy, whoever is in the kitchen with you right now, you can ask them to give you some time to do this yourself, okay? But please, mommy and daddy, whoever is there watching, please do not leave the kitchen. We need your presence all through. This also affords us a time to bond, okay? So once I'm done teaching, I would like you to share your experience with mommy and daddy. A few questions you have, you can also send me an email so I can answer your questions, all right? So now, you wash your rice well enough. So I usually encourage our junior chefs to wash their rice about 2 to 3 times. And the reason why we ask you to do this is to reduce the amount of starch in your rice. Because if that is not achieved, you would notice that your rice will be soggy after cooking, okay? Okay, so it's time to add your rice. Okay, so don't forget one of our kitchen safety rules. Ensure you open the knob of the pot with a napkin. That's to avoid kitchen accidents, okay? So by now, depending on the strength of your burner, your pot should be boiling, okay, just like I have here. You can taste it if you like, if you're that curious. At the same time, you can add your rice. So if you're adding only water, you're not using chicken broth or turkey broth, whatever it is, then you can add about 2 to 3 cups. Okay, so now you can see this is already boiling. Okay, the water I added earlier on is about 2 to 3 cups, and that's because I didn't add any chicken broth. But if you're doing that, about 1 cup of chicken broth, 2 cups of water should be enough for a start. Because there are different kinds of rice out there, I wouldn't know the one you're using, and that's why we're always very careful with water. Okay, I don't want you to make kind of jollof rice that would make someone laugh at you, because I know you're going to make an amazing chef if you follow this process. Okay, so what I want you to do is add about 2 to 3 cups of water only, stir, and then now you add your rice already washed. It is better to add minimal water. Then as you go on while cooking, you can add more water if need be. Depending on the kind of rice you're using, you may need more water or less water. So about 2 to 3 cups is fine for all kinds of rice. Then again, when I say 2 to 3 cups, I mean the measuring cup. Don't forget 250 mils. That's what that measuring cup is. The 1 cup is 250 mils. Now I've added my rice. What am I going to do next? I'm going to stir round just once, okay? Not more than once. I'm doing that because I want to ensure that everything would mix properly. Once that is done, you cover the rice and allow it to cook, okay? So while this is cooking, remember I said something earlier on, you're going to make a smart junior chef if you know how to multitask. One of the things I'm teaching you today, beyond cooking these meals we're going to cook, is learning how to multitask in the kitchen without injuring yourself, okay? Because as a child, you need to learn to think ahead. You need to think, you need to learn to ask yourself, what's the next thing I can be doing with this time to save this time, so you don't waste all the time in the kitchen. So this is on the fire, especially if you have more than one burner, then you can follow my process. So what is the next thing I want to do? I want to start getting a pot ready for the turkey stew, which is the next thing we're going to cook. Here we have our jollof rice, and then now we're going on to fried turkey stew. The only reason why I carried my pot like this is because I've not placed it on the fire yet. As soon as I place it on the fire, the only way I'm permitted to carry my pot is this way, because I don't want to injure myself, okay? Don't forget, it is very important to be careful in the kitchen. If you injure yourself once, mommy and daddy may not allow you into the kitchen again. A lot of parents are already afraid that children cannot do this. So you and I need to prove to them that we can do it. But one of the ways to prove to them is to show them how careful we can be, okay? So we're going on to cooking making the fried turkey stew. Any kind of protein you have, this is the turkey we're using. We have about 8 pieces of turkey here. It depends. If you have chicken, you have gizzard, you have beef, whatever you have, you can still use it for this, okay? So the first process in this, of course, I'm going to show you the ingredients for that soon. But just before I show you that, let's wash our turkey, okay? So we have the ingredients ready for this. So what are the ingredients you need to make your fried turkey stew? Okay, so the ingredients we'll be needing for the fried turkey stew, the first thing we have there is turkey, 4 to 6 medium cuts, okay? So this is about 8 medium cuts. It depends on you, okay? If you like to use 15, especially if mommy and daddy will permit you, you can have your way. You also want to use 1 or 2, it's fine. You want to use fish, you want to use beef, you want to use gizzard, you want to use chicken, whatever you choose to use. But this afternoon, I will be using turkey. Okay, so we have here 4 to 6 medium cuts turkey, and then pepper mix. Remember what we said about the pepper mix earlier? That same pepper mix again is going to show up here. Okay, so we have our tomatoes, bell pepper, habanero pepper, and then cayenne pepper all blended together. Ginger and garlic if you like. Some people would not want to put this in their stew, so it's still optional again. Okay, so we have that, and then we have salt to taste. Then we have seasoning, 2 to 3 cubes. Then we have vegetable oil, about 1 cup. Then we have onions, 1 bulb. Then we have curry and thyme, ½ teaspoon each. And then we have turkey broth. Okay, so you wash your turkey. So here's our turkey. Though I already washed it before, but I want to wash it again because I want to show you the process, okay? Wash your turkey, put them in the pots. Remember, I'm saying turkey because I am using turkey. So you can edit this in your mind, okay? So if you're using chicken, it means wash your chicken. I'm sure you already know this. Yeah, so our turkey is washed. Wash my hands so it feels clean. Okay, so the procedure now, peel, wash, and chop your onions. That's already done. I'm sure you can remember that I chopped my onions earlier on and I still have some left. So this is another way to save time in the kitchen. If you know you're going to be cooking more than one thing at a time, the best thing to do is to get all your things ready at once. So I already chopped as much as I would need for the other cooking, okay? So I have the onions here. The turkey already washed. Now I'm going to add the turkey. I'm going to add the onions, the chopped onions to the turkey. Okay, and then I'm adding my half a teaspoon thyme, half a teaspoon curry, pinch of salt, depends on you, 1 or 2, and then I'm going to add my seasoning, about 2 cubes. For some people, you want to add your grounded pepper, but sometimes you may decide not to add it, okay, since you already have your pepper in the pepper mix, okay? But it depends on you. If you want to add your ground, you can add your ground pepper, okay? If you want to add your ground pepper, you can do that. So this is your ground pepper, and then you want to add a little bit of water that it will cook with, okay? So you add that. And then now you can put on your burner. And then you cover. Okay, so the turkey is on the fire. We're going to allow this cook for about 15 minutes. The water I added is about a cup of water, okay? When I say a cup of water, this about a cup or a cup and a half, okay? That's about 250 mils or 350 mils, okay? Depending on the amount of turkey broth you want to get at the end of the day. So this is on the fire. You're allowing this to cook. While this is happening, you want to check your rice, but don't forget, get a clean napkin, okay? So you don't injure yourself. Then you check. Whoa, tantalizing. How is yours looking? Wow, can you see mine? Okay, so while I've covered my rice back, okay, that's because there's still water in the rice, okay? So while I'm waiting for this to dry, there are a couple of things I would like to talk about when you're making your jollof rice. For some people, you want to add your diced carrots, you want to add your runner seed, whatever it is you want to add. There's something about cooking. I may teach you a particular process today. There are different ways of doing the same thing. There are multiple ways of cooking jollof rice. However, this particular recipe I'm giving you is the one we have given to most of our junior chefs, and they've gone home to make it themselves. Okay, so this is a recipe we have tried out, and we see that if you follow this, you can achieve the taste, you know, and then the texture of rice that you want to, especially if you're a first timer, okay? So one of the things you can do with your cooking is to really be creative. I've taught you one way. The whole essence of this training is to encourage you, to tell you it's possible to do this, but much more than that, to encourage you to find other ways of achieving this yourself. So what do I expect from you? I expect that after today, you're going to try to cook your jollof rice again, and then this time you're going to try something different. You're going to look for other things you can put in your rice, like the carrots, runner seed, what have you, your shrimps, however you want to make hot dog, okay? Whatever you want to add to your jollof rice, you can do that, okay? There is no one particular way of doing all these things. Today you try this means, another day you try another. Today we're going to be teaching you 3 different things. But I believe when we're done with this cooking, you would, on your own, in the next 1 month, know how to cook about 8 different things. If you take it seriously, that's because every Saturday, you're going to try out a new recipe all by yourself. You can check on the internet, get other recipes. Okay, so I'm about to taste the rice to see how tender it is, okay? Okay. Still a bit hard. And I would like to add a little bit of water. So I said earlier that from the recipe, you can see that you can add about 60 to 85 mils of water, depending on how hard your rice is. That's what I'm doing. We usually encourage that you add the water to the sides. The sides, okay? Remember, we have not stirred this rice. It's very deliberate. We're going to do that much later, okay? So you cover again and allow to cook slowly. This time, if the strength of your burner is very high, like mine, then you can reduce a bit. So it's going to cook gently and slowly, okay? While that is cooking, it's a good time to check our turkey to see how far we've gone with that. Whoa! See what we have here? A nice just looking if you have a double burner. Don't panic if you don't have a double burner. You're going to still watch this video after so you can go through it again, go through the process. What am I doing? I'm trying to turn the turkey over. So we'll have a bit of the water. So I'm going to still allow this cook for about another 10 minutes while we continue. Okay, so by now I think our rice should be ready and we want to check it, okay? So don't forget the napkin. Well, my pot actually has a rubber knob. So it means even if I use my hands, it's not going to burn me. But remember the kitchen rules. Always use a napkin because you can never tell. Sometimes you have different kinds of pots. For one pot, rubber knob and the other is a metal knob. Sometimes you forget. At other times, there are rubber knobs that still gets hot while cooking. So you still need to be careful. Don't forget this. What are the kitchen safety rules you can remember? 1, never leave a knife in the sink. Don't leave the drawers and cabinets open so you don't run into them and injure yourself. Don't leave the handles of the pot facing you so you don't injure yourself. Turn them inwards. And then whenever you're opening a pot, ensure you use a napkin to do so. When you want to hold the handles of a pot you already cooked on the fire, ensure you're using napkins to do that, okay? A lot of other rules as we go on I'm going to share with you, okay? So for now, wow, here is our jollof rice. Okay, so don't forget you stir with a wooden spoon. Stir thoroughly so you have an even color, okay, which is what I'm doing right now. Once you have stirred well, you notice that the color of the rice would be even. You can taste your rice if you feel you want to add a little bit of salt, a little bit of seasoning, depending on the kind of taste bud you have. Some people like it very sharp, some people like it mild. So it depends on you. You can taste to see. Some people also like to slice onions and then have it in this. You can add your tomatoes at this. Like I said, when you're talking about cooking, you need to really be creative. Okay, so you're turning. When you turn this very well, you're going to know because you realize that your rice has an even color, okay? So you stir very well. Once you've done that, the jollof rice is actually ready. But to achieve the party rice flavor, you cover again for about 2 to 3 minutes, okay? You cover again for about 2 to 3 minutes. Allow it to heat so the smoke flavor would come into the rice, okay? Okay, so while we're waiting for the 2 to 3 minutes to allow the rice heat enough so that we can have the party flavor, the party rice flavor, we can check our turkey now. Don't forget the rules. Napkin with the pot, the knob, the pot lid so you don't get burnt, and then you check your turkey, okay? You can see that my turkey is cooking so well, okay? If you think it's not cooked enough, depending on what you can see, remember everything. Some of these the steps we have here may change. It may alter a bit depending on the strength of your burner. If you have a very strong burner, it will cook faster than the minutes given. If you have a burner that is medium, heat, it will cook about the same time it is given. And if you have a burner that has low heat, it will take longer than the time we have talked about. So these are the things you must note. So as you go on, check it, taste it, and then I'm sure you're going to achieve this with ease, okay? And then, of course, with the help of mommy and daddy, you're going to also achieve this with ease. Okay, so by now, our jollof rice should be ready. Wow. Okay, you can see this. You can see my rice has an even color. That's because I have stirred properly. If you have done same, this is what you should have where you are now. Okay? And then gives an even color. This is beautiful. So your jollof rice is ready, and then you're going to also notice that it has the smoke part, the party rice flavor, that smoky flavor. Okay, that's it. Well, again, for some people, they will use something like a foil paper to cover before the pot, so that the rice steams very well. But I believe if you have a good pot, if you have a pot with a good cover, a good lid, pot lid, you won't need to do that. Okay, so our jollof rice is ready. Who is as excited as I am? Okay, so 1 down, 2 to go. The turkey is already here. We're going to go into that just right away. So we turn off the burner for the rice. Ready to eat, ready to taste. Okay, so let me have a taste of it. Now, this is where I wish this class is not online, because you would have joined me. Usually when we have our junior chef classes, at this point the class becomes really exciting. Everyone in the team wanting to taste their rice, because we have them in teams. We have our students in a team of 5, a team of 6, and then everybody wants to taste the rice at this point. Oh, wow. You know the joy that comes with knowing that you've made a very tasty meal? Awesome. 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 Let me take a taste here. Okay. So this is done. We'll go on to the next. Okay, so we're taking this off because we are done. So we have the burner to do something else. So what are we going to do right now? We're going to fry our turkey. Okay, so our turkey should be ready now, and it's time to drain from the broth and then fry it. Okay, so this is what we're doing. Open the pot, then use the napkin. See what I'm doing? If your napkin is not long enough, all you need to do is pick 2 napkins, okay, as against trying to use 1. So if it's long enough like mine, you do this, okay. But before you do that, turn off your burner, so you don't enjoy yourself. But at this point, I will actually really encourage you to allow an adult help you, okay? Then you drain. Okay, so the bowl I have here actually have a sieve, so that's what I'm draining with, and then the broth has gone to the bottom, okay? So we can use the same pot, okay, which is what I want to do. I want to actually use the same pot to save my time. So it's time to fry the turkey. So you get a clean pot on the fire. Okay, that's your clean pot, and then you're allowed to heat for about 30 seconds so it dries up, and then you add your, let me wash this, so I would use this for the oil. Okay. Okay, so the pot is dried now. Okay, so I'm adding my oil, 1 cup of oil. This is 1 cup, which is 250 mils, or just enough oil to fry your turkey actually. For some people, your parents may not like to have so much oil in their food, so you can actually reduce this. Some people, for health reasons, they don't eat a lot of oil. Some people don't even fry their stew. Okay, so they are different. Like I told you, there are several ways of cooking the same meal actually. So you need to remember that always. The way you've learned to cook is not the only way there is. There are several ways of cooking. Every day we learn new ways of doing things. Okay, so we are frying the stew. This is actually fried turkey stew. So we are frying the stew today. But some people would rather not fry their stew. They will have their pepper mix in a pot, allow it to cook. Put in a bit of olive oil or whatever kind of oil they've chosen to use, coconut oil or what have you, and then add the other things they need to do. But today we're going to fry our stew. So we allow this hot oil to heat for about 30 seconds and less than a minute actually. The reason we're doing this is because I don't want it to choke, and I also don't want it to choke and to get anyone else choked, okay? So that's why we have to be very, very careful. So here is our already drained turkey, or turkey already drained from water. So you add that in bits. You can allow an adult help you with this if it's something you're doing for the first time so you don't enjoy yourself. Remember, if you enjoy yourself, mommy and daddy may not allow you into the kitchen again some other time. Whatever you do today in the kitchen will determine if they will allow you go into the kitchen again at other times. It's very important to note this, okay? So take your time, put them one after the other. Yeah. So here is the turkey breast. We're going to use it for our cooking. Okay, I'm sure you can see this. Here is it. We're going to use it for our cooking. We're going to use it to make the stew. So we're frying the turkey. And if you're using beef, you do same. You're using chicken, you do same. If you're using tough meat, like well, if you're using beef, sometimes it can be so tough. Or you're using things like meat innards, cow innards. You can also use you can also use a pressure cooker to cook faster. But please do not do that alone. A pressure cooker is something I don't even advise children to use at all. Only adults, okay? So we'll allow this turkey fry. Okay, maybe about 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, and then the turkey should be ready. After that, we'll use the same oil. So when you're frying your turkey, it will also be nice to use to get a pot that you can also use in making your stew. It saves a lot of time. So you don't have to go turn the oil into another pot. You can use the same pot to continue your cooking, okay? Which is what I'm going to do after now. Don't forget the process with which we got the pepper mix. Don't forget how we got this broth and all that we added into it, okay? And then I already told you to have a writing pad by your side. If there are questions you would like to ask mommy and daddy, you can note them down. After this training, you can ask them. And then if there are questions you'd like to ask me to, note them down and then send a mail to me, Auntie Toro. Okay, my email is itoroebright@gmail.com. I'm sure you're going to see that soon. I'd like you to follow us on YouTube, our YouTube channel, Ibomsoups. Okay, so while the turkey is frying, I would like to say something, okay? First, I would like to let you know that you can watch this video over again when you're doing this. If for any reason you're confused at any point, write down the things you want to ask, the questions you want to ask me, questions you want to ask your parents, you can do that. And then much more than that, this video will be on our YouTube channel, so you can watch them after, okay? Go on YouTube, search for Ibomsoups, and then you'll find our YouTube channel there, and then you can watch this video. We're going to upload it almost immediately after this training, okay? And then as well, you can follow us on Facebook, like our page on Facebook. Encourage mommy and daddy to like our page on Facebook, And then, encourage mommy and daddy also. A way to say thank you to Ibomsoups for this, because we're having the online training for the first time, and it's actually free. This is our first time of doing a free junior chef training, okay, by Ibomsoups. So one of the ways you can say thank you to us is to follow us on Instagram. Follow us, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to be shooting a lot of videos now. This is the beginning. We're going to have a lot of videos coming up weekly, and you don't want to miss any of this, because if you follow us closely, you're going to learn a whole lot of recipes. We have over 100 recipes to teach you. So subscribe to our channel so you can learn this more. Don't forget, go on YouTube, search for Ibomsoups, and then you search for Ibomsoups, Ibomsoups, and then I'm sure we're going to also have the YouTube channel scrolling, and then of course the Instagram channel as well. The Instagram handle as well. So follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube, and let's check our turkey so we don't forget. It's very important, whatever you're doing in the kitchen, even if you're doing something else, you need to try to remember what you were doing before. Some cookers have timers, you can also use that. Okay, so what are we going to cook next? We're going to make white soup. Okay, so our turkey is still frying. I don't know about yours. This is a smaller burner as compared to this, okay? So, I said something earlier on about multitasking. The next thing we're going to be cooking is white soup. To make our process faster, while we are waiting for this turkey to fry, we're going to use this other burner to boil our water. Now, this is one thing I learned about cooking as well. If you want your cooking to be faster, once you're in the kitchen, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of cooking that day, once you get into the kitchen, try and boil water in your kettle and just have it ready. It makes your cooking faster. You're making your soup, boiling your rice, your yam. Imagine you already have water boiling and then you're just adding it. It makes your work faster. So these are things I learned to do. Then I also learned to prepare ingredients ahead. So it's not like it's at the time you need onions, you go to chop it. At the time you need vegetable, you pause first, you go to do it. Get your ingredients ready. It makes your cooking faster. It makes it more organized, and it limits the amount of accidents the possibility of accidents in the kitchen. It limits the possibility of accidents in the kitchen. Sometimes the cause of accidents is because you're trying to do so many things at the same time. You're trying to be here, you're trying to be there. So these are the things that causes accident while cooking. So it's very important for us to get our ingredients ready. That's why you notice from the beginning of this cooking, I already had all this displayed because I understand the importance of getting ingredients ready. Okay, so the turkey is here. By now our turkey should be ready, so you can. I do like my turkey really, really brown. I like it just a little fried. As a matter of fact, I would prefer grilled turkey. So it depends on what you like. If you also like grilled turkey, why not? It works. I told you there are several ways of doing the same thing, right? Okay. So that's done. Now, if you're going to use a different pot for your stew, this is the time to remove this pot from the fire, especially if you use the frying pan to fry your turkey. So this is time to remove this pot from the fire and then remove the frying pan from the fire and then put the pot for the stew on the fire, okay? But because I am going to use the same pot for making my stew, I don't need to remove this from the fire. Okay, so if you're going to use a different pot, it's time to remove it. So I'm going to wash my spoon. Okay, so like I said earlier, one of the things to do when cooking is to find ways to make your work easier. So if you want to make this stew, you can use the same pot you use in frying your turkey to make your stew. It makes it faster. But if you also want to use a fry pan, feel free. Now I'm using the same pot I use in frying my turkey to make the stew. So I'm not going to put a new pot on the fire. But if you're going to use a different pot, then it's time to put it on the fire, allow it to heat for 30 seconds, and then add your oil. You create the same oil you used in frying the turkey. You add it and then allow it to heat for about 30 seconds, and then you can put your onions. So what I'm doing now is, I already have the oil on the fire, already heating. So I add my onions and stir, okay? These onions, it actually depends on you. You can add a lot, okay? I'm going to share one secret with you to ensure that you have a tasty stew all the time, okay? So you can add a lot of onions. I love to put my ginger at this point, my curry at this point, because it just takes over, it just brings this aroma that takes over the environment. I like to be loud when cooking. I want people around to know I am cooking, okay? And that's because everyone already knows that there's something about me and food. Yeah, so now this is our pepper mix. I'm sure you remember the process with which we achieved this. This is our 1 cup measurement. We are going to use about 2 cups to make this stew. Okay? So that's the first cup of pepper mix. And then the second cup of pepper mix. This actually depends on you. You want to make more, you want to make less, you can do so. Okay? So maybe I should just use 2.5. Yeah, let me use 2.5. Okay? So this is this is half cup. So I'm using 2.5. So it depends on the quantity of stew you want to make. So that's left to you to make your choice. You can just stir again. And then you allow to cook, allow to fry for a while. You can also cover your pot. Okay, and I picked that because it's already cold. You know, I've opened it for a long while now. So we allow this fry for about 5 to 10 minutes, then we'll check it again. So this water we are boiling, I'm sure you remember when I put this water on the fire, is for the next soup. I said we are making white soup called Ofe Nsala in Igbo and Afiai Ferry in Akwa Ibom. So if you're from the East, Anambra State, Enugu, Imo State, I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. this is ofe nsala we're about to make. And then if you're from Akwa Ibom, we're about to make afia efere. And then if you're from any other tribe, then we are about to make white soup. Okay, so our stew is on the fire, and we've allowed to cook for, well, about 10 minutes or thereabouts or so. So now you can check it. Oh, wow, looking beautiful. Love the color. Love the color. I like to teach people to cook with natural ingredients as much as possible. And like as much as possible, make your ingredients natural. They are healthier, they taste better. Okay? So that's the stew. So we're stirring, and then what are we going to do? We're going to add a pinch of curry, thyme. This is actually optional. Some people would not add it. A pinch of curry, okay? Then thyme. You don't even need to add so much because you already have it in the turkey breast, and you're going to also use that for the stew. Then a pinch of salt, and of course 2 cubes of seasoning. Now we've added all this, you can allow to fry for about 2 to 3 minutes again. Okay, so you allow to fry for about 2 to 5 minutes if you like. And then for me, I think I want to add the turkey broth already. That's also because I feel, remember I said something earlier, some of these things will change if your pepper, the kind of pepper you're using is not already cooked before now. Okay, so the pepper I'm using has already been cooked before now. So it's not going to take so long to cook again, to fry, okay? So what am I doing? I'm adding the turkey broth. Let me turn it this way so you can see what I'm doing. Adding the turkey broth to it, okay? Okay, so I stir. And then now I would allow for about 2 to 5 minutes, just like you would have allowed. Okay? Cover so it doesn't splash on anyone and yourself. Then we're going to check our water. By now our water should be ready, and we should be getting the 3rd pot ready for our next cooking. Okay? Okay, so this has been frying for about 2 to 5 minutes, and then we want to check it now to say, whoa, ooh la 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 la. Okay, so yeah, you see the consistency of the stew. So it depends on you and what you want, like I would always say. At this point you can taste to see if you like the taste, or you want to add, maybe you want to add a bit of seasoning, you want to add a bit of you want to add seasoning, you want to add a bit of salt, whatever it is you want to add to give it your desired taste. You can do so at this point. Okay, so this has fried well enough, so the next thing to do is to add your already fried turkey. Okay, so we're adding our already fried turkey. Okay, and then stir. Well, who likes what she say? I love this. Okay, so you're now to steam. Just allow it to fry a bit. Let's cook for about 2, 3, 5 minutes, depending on you, and then your stew is ready. For now, let's allow it to steam. Then the water we were boiling earlier on is ready. Burner turned off, and then we want to begin to prepare the yam for the white soup. Okay, I don't want to rush you too much, just so I'll be sure you get it right. Okay, so let's not miss any step. We're going to go back again through the process. Okay, so while we're waiting for this, let me use that time to wash my bowls, wash a couple of things I'll be needing for the next set. Okay, you can also do same where you are. Use the time, wash a couple of things you'll be needing for your next cooking step. Remember I said something about multitasking. Smart chefs know how to multitask, and I'm sure you are one of us, so it's time to multitask. Okay, so we're waiting, giving it about 2 to 3 minutes while doing this. I would need this, so let me get it ready. Okay, so at this point we want to check our stew. By now our stew should be ready. You can reduce your cooking burner. You can reduce the fire a bit so it doesn't splash on your body. I'm sure. Oh wow, this is beautiful. Okay. Wow, beautiful. How about yours? Okay. Okay, so the stew is ready, and then we'll bring down our pots, cooking pots, so you have space for other things. Okay. So we'll turn off the cooker. Now we're going into the process of making white soup, and we're going to be as quick as possible. I'm sure I've taken so much of your time and then data today. So you're going to the first thing I said on the list is to wash your goat meat. Cut your goat meat into about 4 to 8 pieces, depending on the quantity you want. Some people use chicken, it's also all right. Okay, but in this case, my goat meat is already boiled, steamed, and then with pepper and all. But you see the entire process to follow if you're going to boil yours now, okay? But this is already boiled, so I'm not going to have to boil this again. The only thing I'm going to do differently now is for me to, put my dried fish and then stock fish in water, okay? And then we're going to go on to do just that. Okay, so like I said, I already have my goat meat cooked, so I don't have to go through the entire process, but you find it in the procedure that would show up on the screen, so you can see what to do exactly if you're doing yours, if you're actually cooking yours now, okay? And then here, you can also see on the procedure that you're supposed to debone your fish. Okay, so the ingredients we have for this is, ingredients for cooking white soup. I already told you earlier on, white soup is called ofe nsala in Igbo, and then afiaifere in Akwa Ibom, and then if you're from any other part of the country or the world, it's called white soup, okay? So here are the ingredients: goat meat, 4 to 8 pieces. You can also use chicken. Some people like to use chicken for this soup, is allowed, whatever you decide to use. You know, I told you there are several ways of doing the same thing. You must always remember that, okay? So yam, 3 to 4 slices. So yam, 3 to 4 slices, salt, ½ teaspoon, seasoning, 4 cubes, dried fish or smoked fish, depending on the one you prefer to use. And then stock fish is optional. And then onion, 1 bulb, ground dried pepper or habanero pepper. Remember I told you earlier on that this is habanero pepper, okay? Atarudu is habanero pepper, okay? And then we have pepper soup spices. Okay, so here is the pepper soup spices I'm talking about there in that video. Here it is. Actually, for the pepper soup spice we have here, we have more than 10 different ingredients blended together. So you can also ask mommy and daddy to order from Ibomsoups, okay? Because we sell our blended pepper soup spices, and then the Cameroon pepper, and then our blended crayfish and all. So you can ask mommy and daddy to buy from us, okay? So we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have about 10 different items here. We blend together to make the pepper soup spices, okay? I love to add that pepper soup spice because there's this local flavor it gives to the white soup, okay? So it's one important ingredient you want to add, okay? And then you have 4 to 6 pieces of uziza leaf, and then ground crayfish, 2 tablespoons, and of course water. So we go on very quickly to the process. I told you my goat meat is already cooked, right? So what I'm going to do now, I would debone my fish. I would soak my fish in salt and water. I'm going to tell you why I'm doing that soon. Remember I said 1 big smoked fish or dried fish. So this is 1 big smoked fish, already peeled. Okay, so I'm cutting the fish into small tiny bits before putting them in hot water. If you follow the procedure we have on the screen, you're going to see that what you're supposed to do next is to add a pinch of salt to this. To add a pinch of salt, a pinch or 2 to the fish, and then you pour your hot water. Remember I already told you to boil hot water. You pour the hot water you already boiled into this, and then you allow it to simmer for a while. Okay, I'm soon going to tell you why we're doing this, okay? Another thing we're going to do is to wash the stock fish. There are different types. You can use the head, the flesh, any part you like to use, okay? So I'll leave this for about 5 minutes before I do anything else to it, okay? Thank you. Okay, so while I'm waiting for this to stay for about 5 minutes, that's the smoked or dried fish. While I'm waiting for that, I get the stockfish and then I put in a bowl as well. Well, this is the bowl I have access to right now, so I can do this. You can use hot water, you can use warm water, you can use cold water, you can use room temperature water actually. So the whole essence is just to allow it also simmer a bit before we now wash it properly. Okay, so I'll get my pot on the fire. No fire yet, just the pot. I open it And then I'm going to have to cook my dried fish and stockfish. Remember, the procedure says cook your goat meat. I'll cook your goat meat first, and then along the line, put salt and water in your dried fish, salt and hot water in your dried fish. Wash your stockfish, and then add these two to the already boiling goat meat. But in this case, the goat meat is already fully cooked, so I don't need to follow that process. I just realized we didn't have the fresh one. This was already cooked ahead before the training, so I couldn't show you that process, okay? So what I would do now is wash my dried fish and stockfish well, and then cook it, the same process I showed for cooking the goat meat. Okay, so why did I add salt and hot water? Maybe I should just continue. I'm going to say that while it is cooking. Remember, I said something about multitasking and saving time in the kitchen. So let me not spend all the time doing that, because 5 minutes is already done for this. So I'll wash this well. Okay, be careful. Don't dip your hands into hot water. It's going to burn you. Be very careful, so you can let it drain. Okay, and then once it has drained, you add your cold water. So at this point, I can tell you why I decided to use warm hot water to wash my fish. When you use hot water and salt to wash your fish, if there is any form of sand in the fish, it takes it out. Oil, sand attached with the oil used in smoking the fish, it takes it out. You know, the process of smoking the fish involves the use of charcoal at times, you know, and then you are not there, you don't understand the process. So you want to do this to ensure that what you're cooking is clean. So salt helps with that. And then not just that, you want to ensure there is no sand. So if you're using a kind of fish that has bones, remember I said in the procedure, debone your fish. Okay, but mine was already dressed before we started doing this, okay? So I have that, and then put it into the pot. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing to the stockfish. Okay. And I want to use the same bowl. Okay. So I'll do this. Pick it. Be careful when you're dealing with hot water so you do not injure yourself. Kitchen accidents are avoidable if you are a lot more careful. Okay, so this is washed, and then you add it into the pot, and then your water. Okay, wash your hands if you're not comfortable. I wash my hands a lot while cooking. I like to feel that my hands are clean while cooking. Okay, so this is it, and then we add a bit of water. So I'm trying to cook it just like I would have done with the goat meat if the goat meat was there. So I add my ground pepper. I add my seasoning, about 2 cubes. Add a pinch of salt. Then I add, my ever reliable, loyal chopped onions. Okay, now I would stir this and allow to cook for some minutes. Say about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, depending on the kind of fish you're using. If you're using smoked fish like I'm using, you won't allow it cook for too long because it can become really soft and then scatter in the soup, okay? Okay, so I said earlier that, so I'm using smoked fish. Depending on the kind of fish you're using, it will determine how long you cook it. Now, I used ground pepper. You can also use, remember, I also mentioned that you can use your habanero pepper, which is the atarodo. We still have it here. So that's our atarodo. You can use this already crushed and add it at this point, okay? So that's it. I'll put on the cooker and allow it to cook for some minutes, okay? For about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, depending on the kind of fish and stockfish you're using. Some stockfish can be so tough and then it takes longer time to cook, while some are quite tender. The one I'm using today is very tender, both the fish and the stockfish, okay? So this is cooking. But again, to save our time, remember I said something about saving time, being a smart chef. And I know you're a very smart kid, so you would also make a very smart chef, okay? So what we're going to do now to save our time while we're waiting for this is to peel our yams. Remember I mentioned 3 to 4 slices of yams. Okay, so this is time to peel the yams. We have them here, okay? Wash them already, but I'm going to wash again after peeling, okay? So let me stack this. If your table is already looking like mine, you need to decongest. If you don't do that, you can pour something off by mistake. We're already done using this. So I can return it so it doesn't disturb the other things I'm doing. Can return them since we're done so it doesn't disturb the other things we're doing, okay? Gives me enough space. I'm not using this right now. I can also, okay? I'm going to use this when I'm chopping the yams, okay? So I have enough space to chop my yams now. Yeah. I think I'm done with this because I've added my onions. I can also do away with this for now. I'm just trying to create enough space so it doesn't look as choked as it's looking right now. Okay? So you can do that also. I'm not using this anymore. Can remove this so I have space. You can do that also where you are. Try to reduce the things you have there so you have space. I'm not using this anymore. Space. Wow. See how clean my table looks now. You can do this as well. So the knife. I already use this knife to cut the yam. So you peel. Okay, so when doing this, cut your yams into very small chunks. The smaller the chunks, the faster it will cook. So it will reduce, it will help your cooking process and reduce the time you have to spend in the kitchen, okay? And then also when the yam is cut into small chunks, small tiny chunks, it makes it easier to pound or ground if you are using the food processor, whichever one you're using, okay? As much as possible for this purpose, try to avoid using the head of the yam. The part, I hope you know the part I'm calling the head of the yam. So this is it. So this is where I cut from. This is the head of the yam. Avoid using this part. It can be very hard. It takes longer time to cook as compared to this other part. So while this is already soft, this will not be soft yet. So when you pound, it's going to have some bits of seed inside of it. It won't be smooth. That's because they don't have the same texture while cooking, well, when it's done, okay? So it's very important when you're doing this, don't use this part of the yam. You can keep this part of the yam for boiling, for eating later, but not for pounding purpose, okay? Okay, so I've cut into tiny small parts. Get them inside into my bowls, ready for washing. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so yams already cut and want to boil the yam. But remember what I told you about saving time in the kitchen as a smart chef. So I'll put on this burner and then I'll move this here because this is a stronger burner and I want the yam to cook fast. Then I'll move the pot for the yam this way. Okay. Let me turn the handle so you can take both pots at a time. Okay, good. Now, remember the water. I told you the importance of boiling your water. I will need to measure this. About 3 to 4 cups of water you need. But let me wash this so we can measure. Okay, so so this is 1 cup, 2 cups, 3 cups, and then 4 cups. Now this is not up to 4 cups. I can get some from the tap to add to this. Yeah, so I have 4 cups of water. Okay, so wash my yams. Okay, so that's it, and then pour this away. Then I cover my pot. I'm not adding anything to the yam, no salt, no nothing. Just cover and allow to cook. While that is cooking, okay, so this is taking shape. Whoa, you can see what it looks like. Okay, so while we're waiting for the yam, we can get this completely ready. So once the yam is ready, we pound or process and then we have it ready. Okay, so I'm going to add this. That's the goat meat already boiled. I want to add it so it will become warm, not just warm. So it's going to have the same, the seasoning and all I've added to it would also reflect in the yam, so to speak. Okay, so doing this, it will also reflect in the goat meat. Sorry. Okay, so I'm doing this. If you feel like you don't have enough stock water, feel like you don't have enough water in this, you can add more, because that's exactly how I feel right now. I can almost not see any. Okay, there's a bit of water in it, but I can add more. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So if you're experiencing the same thing over there, you can also add a little more, but be careful with water. Don't add too much water. We're still going to add water much later. Why? The reason why you're not adding all the water right now, the water you need for the soup right now, is because when you do that, it will take a long time for you to get the kind of taste you want in the meat. Okay, now this is looking so much. This is a lot, you know. This is a lot for the quantity we are cooking. Maybe what I'm going to do, because I can see that I have a lot of meat, both meat, fish and all, I may just increase the quantity of water a bit, because that's what actually increases the soup. White soup is actually more like pepper soup with the thickener in it. Okay, so you can add a bit of water, which is what I want to do with mine now. I want to add a little bit of water to it. About 1 cup of water is what I want to add. So it depends on what you feel like. We're still going to add water to the cooking much later. Then I will allow it to simmer for about 3 minutes. Okay, so you know I said something about clearing up as you cook. You don't have to mess up the entire house because you're cooking. Okay, so you can clear this while you're waiting for the yam and waiting for the meat. You clear this. Okay, and then you can wash this, wash all this, so you have a clean table. Don't forget, don't ever leave your knife in the sink. Someone else can come around and get injured, and you can also forget and injure yourself. Okay, so what we're going to do while we are waiting for all this to be ready, I would take you through the process of the ingredients again, especially the ones that we have here on the table. So there are some very little secrets you can add to your cooking to make your cooking exceptional. Okay, so like when we make some meals, okay, we had a customer say once that she went to her sister's house and then her sister served her a particular food. As soon as she started eating, she said, this tastes like Ibomsoups. And then the sister said, how did you know it's from Ibomsoups? I felt really good when I heard that. It means that we've been able to carve a niche for ourselves, and then it means people can tell our cooking. Okay, so you can also do that with your cooking. When you cook and someone else is cooking, someone who has tasted yours should be able to tell this person made this because of the way you cooked. Okay, so some of the things you can do is to consider the ingredients you're buying. Now I told you about our pepper soup spice. Here it is. Okay, you would see the pepper soup spice. Unfortunately, this is online, so you can't even perceive it. You need to feel the aroma. You need to perceive it. It's already from the aroma you can already tell this will be very tasty. Okay, and then I already told you we blended quite a number of ingredients to achieve this. We have the cloves, you know, we have a lot of them. They are all here, and then we also have this, also blended inclusive, and then of course there's ginger and garlic all in one to achieve this. Dried ginger, dried garlic. With this, your pepper soup, your white soup, there's something about the pepper soup spice that comes from Ibomsoups. You don't want to miss it. So you can blend yours as well. You can go to the market. I'm sure the camera is closer. You can go to the market. You can get all of this. Okay, pick them, get them together, and then blend to achieve yours. So we're not using this anymore. I've shown you what I want to show you, and I can remove this from the sides. And this, we don't need this. This is the uziza leaf. The leaf we wrote, you saw on the recipe, uziza leaf. This is the leaf. We're using about 4 to 6 of it. You can even add more. You can use more than that. It depends on what you like. Depends on you and what you prefer. These leaves are better if you find the tinier ones. When you want to buy the uziza leaf, or your mom is going to buy, I'm sure your parents are also watching with you because they're there to supervise your cooking, and I'm sure they can also hear this. It's better to buy tinier leaves. Tiny ones taste better. They are tender. They taste better. When it comes to vegetables, it's better to buy tender vegetables. They are best. Vegetable is best when it is tender. When it becomes large, you know, it's already losing that taste and that value. because that tenderness is what gives it the taste you want. Most vegetables actually. So you want to buy the Uziza leaf, try and look for one that is tender. And then here we have the blended crayfish. We're going to use it soon. I already told you that the seasoning is your choice. You choose the kind of seasoning you want to use for your cooking, or whatever mommy and dad is already using for their cooking. That's fine as well. Okay, so these are the remaining ingredients we're going to be using: salt, pepper, and then all of this, and we will be done with our white soup. So something I need to tell you about your stew. You know, I said I was going to let you know something that would always make you achieve the right taste of stew. Something that would always make you achieve the right taste of stew all the time. Most cooking, or the taste of your cooking most of the time, comes from the kind of ingredients you use. Okay? If you use the right kind of ingredient, it reflects in your cooking. Someone who is making this white soup and is just using goat meat or just using chicken and adding nothing else may not get the kind of flavor you will get when you add your dried fish, your stock fish, your goat meat, and then maybe you assort your meat in goat innards or cow innards and all of those. The person may not achieve the same thing. So variety actually makes your food come out really nice. And then the quality of ingredients, I emphasize on this a lot. As a matter of fact, I'd rather not cook that food than cook it with less quality, ingredients with less quality. No way. It's a no-no for us at Ibomsoups. If it's not quality, we are not interested. And then I also mentioned that it's important as much as possible to cook with natural ingredients. While there are a lot of processed ingredients out there, if it's possible, get the natural ingredients. They taste different and they are healthier. Okay? So I want to tell you something about making your stews. You want to make your stew. You see these tomatoes? Okay? You see, I'm sure we know this kind of tomatoes in the market. There are different types. I wish I had the other option to show us. But truth is, when it comes to tomatoes, and when you talk about Ibomsoups, this is the type we buy. There is something about tomato juice. That's what it's popularly called. So there's something about tomato juice. It gives your stew that taste. It's thick, red, and then very tasty. Okay? So when you buy the right kind of tomatoes, it already affects the taste of your stew. Some people, because of volume, buy the other types I'm talking about. It looks like it's voluminous, it looks like it's a lot. But by the time you're done cooking, it reduces back to the same size this would have given you a lot of times. Not to talk of the color and the taste you're going to get from it. It's a no-no, it's not the same. For me, when it comes to stew, or any other thing, when it comes to cooking ingredients, use the best. Use the best. Okay? So when you're sent to the market to buy anything, look out for the quality, look out for the freshness, pick the best. And as much as possible, we encourage everyone to process their ingredients themselves. That's why you also notice with our bell pepper that we have the very large, beautiful looking bell pepper. Because I value the kind of ingredient you use in cooking. I value it a lot, okay? So I'm done with showing you this. This is something that makes your stew taste nice all the time. Well, for some people, they will tell you they can't make jollof rice without tin tomatoes. You see, we did that today. That's also because of the presence of cayenne pepper in the tomato mix, in the pepper mix, okay? So as much as possible, get your cayenne pepper, even if it's a little quantity, just add it. There's this reddish flavor and this flavor, and then of course the local flavor it gives to your stew and your rice, your jollof rice. And then there's something about the taste, and then there's also something about the color that it gives to your food as well, okay? So just to be sure that I have as much water as I want to boil another water and then add to this, okay? So I want to boil another water just so I have enough water to cook. Okay. So I'm going to put this off because I feel that this should be ready now. Okay, you see what I did? I have to pick my napkin because I don't want to injure myself. Okay. Oh, this is looking really, really sumptuous. Huh? Okay, so the next thing to do is to check to ensure that your yam is tender. Okay. And you can use this. You can ask an adult to help you do this because I don't want you to enjoy yourself. Okay, yeah, our yam is tender enough to be. So if you do not have a food processor, you can use a yam. You can use a yam pounder, you can use a food processor, you can use a mortar to pound. There are small mortars you can use to also pound this. But I'm going to use a food processor to do mine, okay? But just before I do that, we're supposed to add water to the soup, remember? We're supposed to add water to the soup. So this is ready, and then we're going to add, let me get this ready. I want to measure the water we are adding here, okay? Remember, we're supposed to add water to this. So we add about 3 to 4 cups of water to this, depending on the quantity of soup you want. I want a lot of soup because I have quite an amount of meat, and it wouldn't be bad to have extra, you know. And when you're done with that, you can then, okay, I think we're done with that. Okay, so I'm removing it from the fire. I told you about saving time. So I want to move this to the burner that burns faster than the other, okay? I'm moving this to the faster burner. While I try to pound or process the yam, this is already boiling. I want it to come to a boil. Okay, so, well, I've removed the yam from the fire. I'm putting this on the fire, and I want it to come to a boil. While I'm waiting for that, it's a good time to process my yam, okay? So, okay, so okay, can add a little water. If you don't have a food processor, like I said, you can use your mortar. So my pounded yam should be ready already. Okay, so this is not boiling yet. I would allow it. Let me check the texture of my pounded yam before I remove it, okay? Can pound once more. Okay, so done with that. Yeah. So this is what I have. Yeah, that's what I have. So good to go for my white soup. You can use all, depends on you. But I don't think I need all for the quantity of soup I'm cooking, okay? So we'll wait for this to come to a boil. While that is happening, I can try to decongest a bit. Okay, so if you're ready, I'm ready to check this. By now, you should notice something is happening with your pot. So you have the pepper soup spice. I want to get the right spoon ready for it. Okay, so you add your pepper soup spice, half a teaspoon. You can add more, it depends on you how you like it. I really love the flavor, so I wouldn't mind adding more. Okay, and then you add your ground pepper if need be. If you think you don't have enough from the last time you actually boiled your meat, you can add a pinch of salt. But I always advise before you add salt to any cooking, try to taste that meal first so you're sure of the taste before you decide to add salt. And then of course 2 cubes of seasoning, okay? And then I can stir that. Okay. Okay. This is what I have here. So, well, while we wait for that, maybe we should just wait and then begin to flatten the yam and then begin to add into it at once. So the yam is ready. If you were pounding yours, I'm sure by now you would be done already as well. Make your hands wet so you can take. If you're using a food processor, please avoid dipping your hands into it. The blade is very sharp, okay? So you can do this. So cut the yams into small lumps, small chunks, small sizes, and then flatten it so it melts easily, okay? Flatten it. Depends on how thick yours is. Because I used a food processor and I added water, it's not as thick as you would expect, okay? Okay. Okay. So if yours to be thicker, you flatten it. If it's thicker, why you're flattening it is to make it dissolve on time. But if it's already soft like this, you don't need to flatten it because it's going to just dissolve easily. But if it's thick, it will take a longer time to dissolve. That's why you're flattening it. You may not end up using the whole yams you pounded. It's not a problem. You can use the remaining one to actually eat the soup. Because this soup is actually eating with pounded yam. Okay? So you can use the pounded yam to eat the soup, or you use you can use the pounded yam to take with the soup, or you use your poundo yam flour, or you use you use semo, you use whatever kind of form of swallow you want to use. That's fine. So at the end of this cooking, we are going to have a competition. Okay? So everybody who is participating in this training, if you want to be a part of the competition, I'll be glad to see you participate, okay? So you're going to do your food plating. By food plating, I mean you're going to design your food, okay? In a plate or two, or, set up your plate. Decide how you want it to look. Is it the jollof rice you made? Or is it the stew? Or the jollof rice, a combination of the stew and then the meat, the turkey or chicken or whatever you used? Or the white soup and the form of swallow you like to use? So, I'd like you to do a short video, approximately 1 minute, okay? And then send in to us. Let's send in the video to us via our email, okay? And the email will scroll. We'll have the email scrolling, etoro@gmail.com. I want you to send the email personally to me, okay? So what I want to do, you can send a video via my email, or you can send in the video on our WhatsApp, 080-61-300-535, 080-61-300-535. Take note of that number with your writing pad. Send in your video, so we'll pick the best. By the best, I mean the most creative and beautiful plating done by the kids. So your parents will have to video you doing this, okay? Your parents are not the one doing this, okay? They will record it while you do this. You take the video, you do the video, you're cooking, they are recording, they record you plating the food, designing your food in 60 seconds. Let's see what you can come up with and how beautiful your food can appear. So we'll pick the winner, and then we're going to send you a gift courtesy Ibomsoups Junior Chef. Okay? We're going to send a gift to your address, so endeavor to participate. Okay, so I think I don't want to add more. I think the quantity I added is already enough. After this, I'm not adding any more. You just add as much as would make your soup thick, the way you want it. Some people like it not so thick, some people like it very thick. So it depends on what you would prefer. You can ask mommy and daddy for their suggestions, what they would prefer as well, and then you can have that also. Okay? Okay, so I've added my, maybe I should add, I'm going to add a little more. So you stay, then you add your grounded crayfish, 2 tablespoons. Okay, that's 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. You can even add more depending on what you prefer. So 2 tablespoons. You've added your crayfish. Now, if you notice the consistency of your soup is not the way you like it, and you notice the yam is dissolving already, you can add more. That's why I asked you to cut up to 3 to 4 slices, so you have enough pounded yam to add to your soup. Okay, so you can add more. That's not a problem. You can make more, you can add more to it. Just like I'm doing now. Okay, so for stirring the soup, advisable to use a wooden spoon or this kind of spoon I'm using, a non-stick spoon. Okay, so let me wash my wooden spoon, because I think at this point I would like to use my wooden spoon too. Okay, so because I can't find my wooden spoon right now, I'm going to use a spatula. I'm sure that's fine. It works just as well as the spoon will work. Yeah. Yeah. When you're cooking, when you're making white soup, especially at this point, after you've added the yams, please do not cover your pot. If you do, you know, when you cover this pot, let me show you an experiment. You cover this pot. After a while, the mist would form on the pot, on the pot lid, and then by the time you open, it drops. So it can increase the amount of water you have in your soup. So if you don't want it, if you don't want the soup looking having a poor consistency or looking watery, you don't want to add this. You don't want to add you don't want to cover the pot. Okay, so you can leave it open while it cooks. It's going to dissolve in no time, and your soup will be ready. So while we are waiting for it to dissolve, remember one technique you need when cooking, apart from calculation, is multitasking. So that's what we want to do right now. You have your uziza leaves ready. So already washed, actually, we've washed these ones. So what am I going to do? I'm going to chop them. Okay? Please do not chop this yourself. Ask an adult to help you, okay? Okay, so here we go. You can, like I said, 4 to 5 leaves, 6 leaves, depending on you, but I'm using more than that. That's because I don't want the rest to waste. So if you're like me, you can use all the ones you have with you. Cut them into large chunks, not too tiny. Well, it also this actually depends on how you like it, but I think it looks better. It appears better when it's when the leaves are bigger. When you cut into bigger sizes. So wow, already smelling really nice. Okay, some people don't like this leaf. If you don't like the aroma that comes with this leaf, then if you don't like the aroma that comes with this leaf, you can as well stay away from doing what I just did. You can stay away from using it, okay? Or you can ask mom and dad if they wouldn't like the aroma. Again, you can stay away. Remember, I said something about tasting your soup at this point before you add this leaf, because once you add this leaf, you're bringing down the soup. So before you add the leaf, taste your soup to confirm that it tastes just the way you want it. Once you have confirmed that, then you can now add the vegetable to it. You want to add a little bit of salt, it's fine. Whatever you want to add is fine. You want to add a bit of crayfish, fine. That's okay. At this point, I leave it to your discretion. Okay? You can ask mommy and daddy to also taste. Whatever they also suggest, you can take that in. So I'd like you to share. Tell mom and dad about your feedback for me. What you would like to see during the next junior chef training. Let me know about it. And I would like you to also be a part of the live junior chef training coming up soon. Okay? As soon as COVID-19 is gone, we're going to have a junior chef training, most likely during the long vacation. And we'd like you to be a part of it. It's going to be an amazing training. I'm going to show you pictures of the very last edition we did. We've had 3 streams. This online training is the 4th stream we are having. We have amazing feedback from our children and our parents. Powerful, amazing feedback from our parents, from our children. Some children now go into the kitchen every Saturday, so they found their new interest in cooking, and then every Saturday they try out a new recipe. For some children, they now when we had the last the second stream, we didn't really, I can't remember if we really taught them. Okay, no, we didn't teach them how to bake meat pie. Yes. But I had students sending me pictures of the meat pie they baked weeks after, because they went online, learned how to do it, and they continued. So the whole essence of this training is to encourage you to find interest in the kitchen and then go search for new knowledge on your own. Begin to try it out. Create your own recipes. I would be so happy to hear that you've created your recipes. And then I was so happy to hear that you're helping mommy and daddy every Saturday. And then to our parents, please give the children some time on Saturday. Let's have the training, okay? Give the children some time on Saturday. Make out 1 hour for us. Go to the market, buy some extra things, and then let us try this out. After this training, do not stop here. Make sure within the next 2 weeks, you attempt all of these meals we have cooked today again, following the process, so that you will always remember. Don't forget, you have no business with this. Let mommy and daddy handle this, okay? You have no business with this. Avoid kitchen accidents as much as possible. If you injure yourself in the kitchen, I've told you earlier on, mommy and daddy will not allow you to do it next time. And you don't want to injure yourself. Mommy and daddy, encourage us. We have amazing junior chefs now who are going to become senior chefs in the future. So don't let us lose that opportunity. God has given you an opportunity to groom them. Be the best parent they can ever dream of by ensuring that you equip them with this skill. It doesn't end here. This is actually the beginning. Okay? There's so much more to do. Enroll for our next junior chef training. We're going to be teaching you a lot of other recipes and very many kitchen techniques. We actually have about 21 different kitchen techniques that you need to learn. Then we have the junior chef safety pledge, of which you cannot take now because of time. We have the parent safety tip, a lot of other things we have that would like to teach you about. So do not miss the next junior chef live training that will be holding at our kitchen. Imagine having you in my kitchen here with me. Okay, I'm sure you won't mind that, okay? So look forward to it, and we'll tell you about it when it's time. Do not miss out on it. The best thank you can say to me is to go right now, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's for you to go on Instagram right now, search for @Ibomsoups, IBOMSOUPS, and follow us. Remember, this is the first time we're doing this for free. This is the best way you can tell us thank you. Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Ibomsoups. Say something, share your feedback from this training. Share pictures, videos from your kitchen, what you're doing. It's amazing how it makes me feel when I hear. This is one thing that gives me the most fulfillment, teaching people to cook. Some people think cooking for others is what should give me the fulfillment. No. Yes, I run Ibomsoups, but I gain my greatest fulfillment when I teach others and they can do it well. So I want to be sure that you represent me well. You are the new Ibomsoups Junior Chef. Congratulations. Please remember, wherever you are, whenever you are in the kitchen, you're there representing me, representing Ibomsoups, and representing all the Ibomsoups Junior Chefs we have. And we've had a good name all the while, and I'm sure you're going to help us promote that name. So say something about this training. Go online, say something about this training. Appreciate us. Tell us what we're doing is nice so we can keep doing it. Tell me about the other videos you would like me to do. Say something on the YouTube channel when this video is uploaded. Let us know what other things you would like to learn. Okay, so my soup is ready, and then I'm adding the leaves, okay, already chopped into small sizes, and then stir and cover. Well, not cover really, because the soup is ready. Ooh, so this is ready. I love this. I don't know about you, what you have there, but I love what I have here. Okay, so yeah, we've come to the end of Ibomsoups Junior Chef Culinary Training, the first online edition, and of course, the fourth stream. Oh, how excited. I feel so fulfilled, so excited that today I have produced more junior chefs. Thank you for being a part of this, and I'm sure that this is the beginning of a beautiful journey in the kitchen with you, wherever you are. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you. Stay safe. Remember the kitchen safety tips. Keep to them. Look forward to cooking every Saturday, and I'm sure you're going to be the best junior chef there is out there. Thank you once again for showing up. God bless you.